And here we go. So welcome to the Singularity Co-op podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy, and I am accompanied by Mike Finn. He's great. He is starting his new blog. His blog is called Rise Above the BS. Find it at riseabovethebs at wordpress.com. So Mike, tell me a little bit about your blog. What do you talk about there, and how can our audience get involved?
So the blog is mostly about just trying to actualize human potential. So just in any way, shape, or form trying to make your own as well as, those around you's lives better in some way. A grandiose notion, I know, but I truly believe that the easiest gateway to achieve those types of things would be fitness, nutrition, and what goes on inside of your head. And I'm going to share that.
Who have you helped thus far? Who's your target demographic? Who are you speaking to when you talk in your blog?
Oh man, so right into the narcissism. Myself. So pretty much the person I'm talking to is me of the past. I was 320 pounds. I played ridiculous amounts of video games. I was even, I made money playing video games. So that's how much I played them. And that's all I did. I ate, slept, breathed it, and drank a lot of Red Bull, and ate a lot of food. So all I'm trying to do is, I was very depressed during that time. I was very unhappy with my life, my relationship with my family, with my daughter, with a lot of people were on the very thin ice. So I decided to make a couple of changes, and that began with eating well, and it started revolutionizing the way I think and the way I approached things. Then when I started working out, it was like a never-ending snowball that just kept going downhill and kept getting me to look at myself as what needed to improve, instead of like society where everyone's complaining all the fucking time anymore. All you really hear is complaints. I don't want to complain anymore. I just want to do something about the shit that I'm living with.
So tell me about the future of your blog. What's your mission? Where do you see yourself in about 5 years, give or take?
So the mission for the blog is simple. I just want to distill as much useful information for people as possible in my own unique, mildly out of the fucking realm of just out of this world kind of distillations of different types of ideas, just ways to rhapsodize it, ways to get your head around it, ways to implement it in daily life. And as I find those little tweaks and those little perceptual hacks that could ultimately just add to the toolkit that is you, I just want to make the blog a place where people could distill that. Where do I hope that goes in the next 5 years? I hope that it leads to me being able to impact and affect others in a way that I was impacted or affected by many of the things I read, or many of the different types of information that I found when I was on this journey. And there's a lot of things I wish I found a lot faster, or that I think could have been explained a little bit better, and that it took me a little bit longer to understand than what would have been beneficial at the time. So I just want to do that. I just want to make those things more easily accessible.
So tell me a little bit about the industry that you find yourself in.
So it is like the health and wellness industry, which is super fucking weird. It's got a lot of taboos in it. It's got a real lot of taboos in it. It also has a lot of controversy somehow, as if there can be any controversy about like pursuing a better you. If something makes you better, do it. If something doesn't, fucking don't. How do you figure it out? You try almost everything. You find things that you like and work. It doesn't matter if people say that they like it, or people say that it works. It matters what you try, what you do, what you implement. And so many people are just being hoodwinked out there. So many people are being sold quick fixes and all of these different things that didn't add value to their life or to their goal or their mission. Even if they do achieve something, let's say like a ridiculous weight loss in a short period of time, you're not going to keep it off. You haven't built the mental fortitude that you need in order to continue on that path. The greatness isn't something that you just get, and you don't want to be a fucking star that just glows really bright but just dies really quickly, because that's what you're going to do if you don't take care of yourself. Die really quickly.
Why do you think there's a little bit of resistance in your specific field of training? Like, why would people not want to listen to you? Where's the friction? Where's the resistance there?
So that's so easy because it's false publications by science. Like, so fucking much of it. Craig Glassman, the founder of CrossFit, actually just won a lawsuit against the governing body of the fitness industry that they published a paper stating that the injury risk rates of CrossFit as a methodology is worse than other methodologies with your shitty little singled out machines that restrict your movement and force you into particular postures that maybe your body isn't ready for yet to apply force at those perfect postures. But they didn't want to believe that. They wanted to believe that people are going to get hurt doing CrossFit because it looks kind of hard. And so they published a fucking paper saying people get hurt doing CrossFit because, well, it looks kind of hard. If you have a good coach, you approach it with a level head and you don't try to get ahead of yourself, you're going to kill it. And it like, just those types of false publications that try to scare, that try to fearmonger people into buying different things that they've probably invested money into, then that's going to ultimately just put out false information. It's going to give people too many choices. And then what happens most of the time? Paralysis by analysis. There are so many fucking choices out there that no one does anything, and the medical industrial complex wins at that point.
Well, let's talk about, are there any new gadgets or any new tech that you're really interested about or excited to see hit the market?
So the more and more they release different type of quantified self applications, the better and better you could get at just quickly refining what works for you. So where it used to be a lot of trial and error over very long periods of time, measuring different type of cycles of training and ways you approach training or eating, the way you weigh your food, like you had to mess with so many different things before. Now, with the advent of technology, you can go to Walmart and get a $15 glucometer and you can test your glucose levels yourself on the spot. You don't need to go to a doctor and ask or wait for those results, wait for those type of levels. You could simply say, hey, that thing that I want to eat that everyone says could be bad for me, let me eat it, test my blood glucose level. Now I know, is it bad for me? Can my body digest that? Does my body have difficulty with it? Does my insulin spike? And pretty much anything that gives you a clearer picture of how the things you're testing work.
What are some essential work habits that you found work best for you to optimize your day, week, month?
As far as optimizing my day by day, I have a very, very ironed out morning routine that I stick with very, very diligently, and it's super simple, but it seemed to have made a ridiculous impact on my life as a whole. I wake up every morning about 20 to 25 minutes earlier than I need to be wherever I want to be. I meditate for 10 minutes immediately upon waking up. I use the Headspace app to do that. I like guided meditation, that Australian's voice or Brit's voice. I might have just, I don't know, wherever you're from, bro, it's amazing. Your voice is amazing. And I love guided meditation. I love meditating. It has changed the way I think. It has changed the way I look at things, and it's definitely slowed down my reaction time. Not in a negative way, but in a contemplative way. I'm going to get better at making the right decisions way. It's going to get it faster again, but in a better way. And then I also do 5 minutes of mobility every single day. Max Shank made that very popular on Instagram and on different platforms. Just simply applying 5 minutes of getting your joints loose and moving in the morning. And I also consume a 16-ounce bottle of water that I throw a pinch of salt into, well, actually 2 pinches of salt into every morning. And just those 3 things. Those 3 little things have changed my life monumentally. Pains that I thought could have potentially been injuries were resolved by simply getting the fluids moving through my joints earlier than what I had typically before. Then my mind, everything it's just easier, it's clear. I don't know. It sucks that not everyone does it.
Where did you come across all this knowledge? Where did you learn from? What platforms?
Whew. So I'm in almost every aspect of life. I'm a glutton. I am a fucking glutton, and it used to be for food, and I also, video games. Anything I do, I just kind of dive into it in a very ridiculous researching effort, and that's what I ended up doing. And when I decided that it was time to lose weight, that I really, really wanted to do it right, I started trying different things, and I came across paleo. I actually came across paleo because of a man by the name of Mike Dolce. It was like he more the traditional workout style, so like it was still the way that I was working out. I wasn't into CrossFit yet. I wasn't doing high intensity or functional movements at all. I was still curling and bench pressing and doing all of those things for individual muscle groups at a time. And this dude, Mike Dolce, who taught like that, he also had these fitness this nutrition methodology. He was training the top weight cutters of the UFC. So I would see him on the stage all the time, like with his Dolce Diet fucking shirt on. And I checked that out first. He recommended micronutrients. So this was the first time I'd ever heard about this. It was always macros. Always get your protein, bro. Lift heavy and eat a lot of protein, bro. That's all I ever heard. So fucking basically all I was doing was eating fucking bird tits and lifting a lot. And trying to lift as heavy as I can. And all I got to eat was spongy bird tits and fucking broccoli. That was it. And then after I realized that there are these things called micronutrients or individual nutrients inside of foods, and I needed to get a variety of them from healthy, naturally sourced places, it kind of opened up my world culinarily a little bit more to enjoy the diet, to actually find things that I enjoy eating that can also be healthy for me, so I could associate, as Tony Robbins puts it, pleasure with where I want to go. So I started associating pleasurable meals, and started moving in that direction with a lot of fucking Frank's Red Hot. Thanks, Frank's Red Hot, for making everything that you put it on delicious. So that helped a lot, the fact that I could still eat hot sauce. And then I eventually moved full-blown paleo. From paleo, I went to like a macro paleo style eating, and now currently I do the Tim Ferriss slow carb method, but that's just because, again, I'm a glutton and I like to fucking pig out on Saturdays. And yeah, it was just ridiculous amounts of research going from place to place and just finding what works for me. And I'm still working on it. I'm still testing it. I'm still playing with it. It'll always get better. I'll always change. I'll always be different. And as those new challenges arrive, I will find ways to meet them. As new challenges in you arrive, I will fucking find ways to meet them.
Well, as we enter the summer, what are some summer goals you have set for yourself? What are you thinking?
Kill myself. Start a blog. Get the blog to really take off and flourish. Just continue moving down this same path, but try to cage the monkey mind a little bit better. Try to apply it with a little bit sharper focus. Try to learn how to channel my flow states a little bit easier, because currently having to try to get out of my mind and then just conversate for long enough that the fucking gears start moving and I start being able to flow or give anything with a verbal alacrity. That's a pain. It's a pain to do. So I just want to keep honing my craft. I want to just never ending sharpen the sword. And I would like to assist others, since I feel like I've made a good amount of progress in myself and in ways that substantially I understand. It's not that I followed other people's methods. I tried to figure out why they were applying those methods, what it meant to them, and then find a way to make it mean the same to me and help make it mean the same to other people. It's value analyzation, creating pleasure where you want it to be and associating pain with where you don't want to be.
What really sparked your passion in this field, in this industry? Why are you here? What got you here?
It was just, I'd learned enough that at a point I became a fat fitness guru, and people would come to me and ask me a lot of questions, and giving people knowledge, it makes me feel good, I guess. Just informing people of something, feeling like I could have possibly had an impactful part on their life, their existence, that I left someone maybe better than I found them. Not saying that anyone is broken or fucked up, but you never know what piece of knowledge, what little thing you could bestow on someone that gives them that lateral connection that they've been waiting for their entire life. You don't know what it is. Like, for me, it was fucking watching a Jason Silva video on Ernest Becker's The Denial of Death. It had really started that whole analytical self-analyzation of can I really trust that fucking radio station that's always playing in my head telling me all of these things? My memories are valuable. Like, it just got me into really analyzing what I was biologically, mentally, psychologically. I wanted to just understand myself better. So I learned all of the different ways to approach that, and now I really, really enjoy giving that to other people because I fucking feel better. So once I realized, yes, I could do this, like I've done it. I have done it. I lost enough weight that I went from morbidly obese to fit, and I would like to bring anyone else there that wants to be there as well. There's also a fucking epidemic. An epidemic in this country of people just eating shit. And I work in the healthcare industry right now. I'm not out of it yet. I don't make a full-time living doing what I want to do yet because it's just not where I want it to be yet. And with that, working there, I see all of these, like, almost every call I get, the person has diabetes. Fuck. Like, a majority of America has some sort of chronic managed disease that's managed by medication. And almost everyone believes that one day they'll end up in like a fucking nursing home or something, as if that's supposed to be the path of life. It's not. These adaptations that we've developed to this sedentary lifestyle aren't necessary. They are not necessary. What you associate pleasure with is your body trying to make its way through life with the minimal expenditure of energy. Your body's just trying to survive better. But your subconscious body, which is fucking roughly 7 years old, doesn't know what it wants very much. How often does your body tell you 1 second that you're fucking horny, and the next second that you're pissed as shit, the next second that fucking everything hurts, the next second, like how sporadic are the fucking signals that you get from your body? How sporadic are they? But most people live their life listening to just those fleeting, pleasure-seeking desires, and they lose the bigger picture. They lose what it is to actually be and feel human, to move human, to live human. And I want to connect people with that again. I mean, I want people to understand that we're human. We are fucking a miracle. You're straight up a miracle. No matter who you are, what life you're living, you're a fucking miracle. Look at the other fucking planets in the solar system. They got any humans on them? Look at the other fucking species on this planet. Any of them carrying a fucking iPhone that you might be watching this on? Come on. Being a fucking human is something phenomenal. This existential crisis, this fucking self-wah-wah bullshit, it's just not necessary. It's because you're living a life where you're not human. So of course you fucking feel shitty about your life because you're a human. You're not living as a human.
Alright, well, let's dive right into the business aspect of what you got going on. So you develop an idea. How do you sell that idea? How do you conversate? How do you get other people to buy it from you?
Well, essentially, I would like to give people all of the dots but connect none of them. So essentially, I'm going to make all of my information entirely free. Everything that I know, I would like to just distill to the population. And the autodidact like myself that wouldn't fucking pay me for it anyway is going to get everything that they need from it. And I'm okay with that. If someone wants to put in the type of hard work that I did to figure this out for myself, they could absolutely do that. They could program for themselves. They could figure it all out. I just want to give that information out there so that in my own voice to get people to pursue it, to maybe hit a different audience, to hit a different target. Now, for those that don't want to do that don't want to go through that arduous journey of the years of self-discovery and figuring out why the fuck you got that fat in the first place, how you could have given such little of a shit about yourself, that you let yourself get to morbidly obese, literally every second of the day being twice as likely to die from something than everyone else on the planet, how you could have done that to yourself. Once you figure that out, once you want to go down that rabbit hole, that's where self-discovery is. Now, for people that aren't ready for that, they could outsource it all to me. I will distill that information for them. I will direct the mental flow of traffic and information for them to maybe open up lines of inquiry that they didn't think of before. And those lines of inquiry, that self-questioning, that self-exploration, that's where true growth and value lies. So to keep people going with that, I've got to give them the shit they need to eat to fuel their mind. I need to give them the ways that they need to move safely to keep their mind and body moving correctly, because there's this other thing called ecstatic flow states that can completely fucking change your life. And I'm going to be make programs that allow people to just enhance their lives without needing to put much thought into it. Not everyone's got the same type of time I have for this. Like you yourself, you are an entrepreneur. You are busting your ass towards something. You don't have time to figure out everything that I've figured out and to monitor all of the things in the way they need to be monitored. I could do that. You could distill all of that to my programs, to my methodologies.
So, what's something that you believe in that maybe not everyone else believes in?
That carbohydrates are essentially the devil. They're a delicious devil, but they're a devil nonetheless. That your body makes them delicious and you derive so much pleasure from it because a majority of those carbohydrates give you very fast, dirty burning energy, which just like cocaine will fucking burn you up from the inside out. And it's the most addictive drug on the planet. People went from consuming an average of like less than 10 pounds to over 120 a year in the average American diet after the 70s, and that sugar, grains, that type of shit that the American Heart Association tells you is good for you, it's not. The Harvard studies and research on fucking sugar, it's like, so I guess what I believe that others do not is that you can't fucking listen to everything that you hear. That scientists aren't always going to tell you the truth. That everyone that you think out there is giving you something for free. The majority of them have an agenda. You just need to figure out if that agenda aligns with your moral understandings and desires out of life, or doesn't it. If it does, fuck it, listen to them. Who cares if they're telling the truth or not? Your life will still be better because of it, because it makes sense to you. But if it doesn't, don't fucking listen to them. You don't have to. There's always a different alternative. There are always other choices that can be made, no matter what the decision is. Make better choices.
Yeah, I just saw this article maybe earlier this week where scientists are starting to do trials for the CRISPR gene editing. What are your thoughts with gene editing and getting right to the core of one's health, one's genome?
So, I mean, epigenetics is like the front line of where we currently are technologically. So I mean, I'm very, very heavy. Like I love epigenetic studies. I love the thoughts of the different environmental stressors and how they affect your genetic expression. So the type of person you are. My genetic expression when I was eating like shit and treating my body like shit was a 320-pound shitty feeling dude. My epigenetic expression now is Viking phobia. So that went very, very well for me epigenetically. I changed certain markers, I turned certain things off, I flipped certain things on. They were all in there. Now, what gene editing can do is for anyone, it could just simply shut them off itself. Turn on what you need, jumpstart, kick the battery right over. You can just start the car with a pill or with a piece of technology, or a nanobot that goes in and rearranges some shit for you. Whatever delivery container that they figure out later on in life, because we have no fucking idea what that's going to be, then, it's going to make things lazier.
Yeah, fair enough. What,
Healthier, so it's ultimately good. I'm still down with it. Anything that perpetuates the human existence, fucking do it, please.
Now, could you tell me a little bit, why are you pursuing the career that you chose? Why fitness?
I believe it's the easiest way that I could change people's lives. I believe everyone knows that if they add a little bit more fitness to their life, that it's going to make it easier. And I believe that I could very easily tack on some shit that maybe they weren't expecting, but I'm gonna put in there anyway in order to hopefully shift some of the thoughts that they have about themselves, about their life, about their existence, and then maybe I can get them to get into that introspective mode. And then once I'm there, once we've got your mind and body on lock, I want to just see what people make of themselves from that point. So it's an opportunity for me to literally impact something, and that makes me extremely happy. opposed to like taking phone calls or putting shit together in a factory or fucking selling people burgers or selling cars. Like I have the opportunity to make a legitimate impact, and I believe that I have a way of presenting information that might make it available to more human beings. And if I could do that, I guess mission complete, boys.
Nice. Tell me, what's one thing that you've never done but you've always wanted to do?
Oh, there are too fucking many of those, okay? My bucket list isn't really a list so much so as a directory that I needed to create like its own unique file sharing system to be able to host it on other people's computers because it's too fucking much shit. I want to do essentially everything. So I mean, the most right now, I would like to absolutely go to India. I've never been out of the country ever, and I would like to get out of this country and experience a completely radically different culture and understanding. My wife is calling though. I think we have to wrap this up.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in to the Singularity Co-op. Till next time, see you later.